let's talk about Sinners beating Minecraft. There was something that was said in regards of the Hollywood Reporter's report that kind of irritated me. And I'll let y'all know what it was in a second. Well, they called it, they said in a surprise upset that Sinners beat Minecraft. First of all, why is it always a surprise upset when Black people, I just feel like it's a racial microaggression. Like, why is it whenever Black movies hit number one, are successful, do well overseas, which we've always heard the stories about how Black films, Black people were told that, oh no, your movies won't gross overseas, your movies won't do that well outside of the United States. They've always said that. But you seem to forget the resilience of people, particularly people of color. And I was in the theater with a lot of Black folks. It wasn't everybody in there was Black. It was a mixture, but it was a lot of Black people when I went to go see the movie on Friday, and I'm going to go see it again tomorrow. So they said in a surprise upset, the movie beat fellow Warner's blockbuster, a Minecraft movie, and topped the chart with an estimated 45.6 million from 3,308 theaters, including IMAX screens, well ahead of an expected $40 million. And I saw that Ryan Coogler did this little tutorial that's on YouTube, like a 10-minute thing, which was showing off like the different lenses and the different compositions of what he did in different screens, so like IMAX and Dolby and all these other theaters and stuff. One specifically, he said there was like specific theaters where you have to go to certain IMAXs to experience the type of film that he did. And one was at Lincoln. I didn't see it in IMAX because I heard from people that it doesn't really make a difference. I saw it in Dolby because I knew the movie, well, from what I was told, the music of the movie drives the whole story. So in order to experience like the richness of the music, I personally would recommend going to see it in a Dolby theater, because there's a certain sequence in the film where you hear like the music passing through different speakers, and it feels like it's kind of piercing through your body, rather than just like, okay, you're watching a movie and you're just getting that surround sound and the audio is just audioing. So me personally, I would choose. I mean, I'm sure that maybe IMAX, it does look good. Personally, it still looked good even when I watched it in Dolby. So I don't feel no way tired about choosing that over IMAX. But anyway, so they said based on Friday's gross of $19.2 million, Sinners look to open to $40 million, but a spike in walk-up Saturday business changed the landscape. And it was probably because on Friday, people were probably waiting for word of mouth. They wanted to hear how good it was, because here, I believe that it got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which was very rare for a film that's R-rated. That they said it had like a tens across the board type of score from critics and from the fandom. And I think there were some people that maybe were still a little bit hesitant, and they decided to wait a little bit. Me personally, because I had heard so much of the reviews and everybody was saying how great it was, I was like, okay, I need to see this movie on opening night. Technically, opening night is Thursday, but I was like, I'll go and see it on a Friday. So now this says that not that and here's the thing with Minecraft. Minecraft is doing fine at the box office. I don't know why y'all talking about it's an upset for 3 weeks out. The movie has already grossed $700 million worldwide. So I don't know what y'all talking about over there at the Hollywood Reporter. I don't know why y'all saying, oh, well, it was a surprise upset. I'm like, first of all, the biggest upset for me is the fact that you will look at a movie like Minecraft, which to me, based off the trailer and everything, looks stupid as hell and juvenile. But the movie resonates with a lot of people, and it made a shit ton of money. So I don't understand why people are just like, well, Minecraft, oh my God, it's an upset. Like, you were expecting it to what, just be number one for like 6 months straight? Like, that's not how it works. But whatever, that's their opinion, and this is mine. But like I said, it's gross. It's almost at that, like, it's reaching for that $1 billion global box office number. So it's done well. It made way more money than a lot of people expected. Nobody was expecting Minecraft to do this big in 3 weeks. So $700 million, I wouldn't be complaining. So they also went on to say that, and Michael B. Jordan look good there. I ain't gonna tell you which brother that is because you got to see the movie. But then They also went on to say that overseas, it pulled Minecraft, by the way, pulled in another huge 59 million for a global total of 720.8 million, including 344.6 million domestically and $376.2 million overseas. Now, needless to say, Sinners boasts a strong start for an R-rated original period genre pick. All eyes were on how Coogler's Sinners performed since the 90 million movie was made entirely by Warner Brothers movie chiefs Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdy from start to finish, which you already know if y'all been hearing the rumblings around Hollywood. Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdy, there's been rumors that their jobs are on the line and all this other stuff because a lot of the films that they've greenlit, and they've taken a lot of risks in regards of a lot of movies they've greenlit over at Warner Brothers. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the risks were good risks, meaning that the quality, the type of films that they were greenlighting were actually pretty good films. The problem is like Mickey 17 and things of that nature. The problem is those movies just crashed and burned really fast at the box office. They weren't making money. I don't know if maybe it was the marketing or whatever the case was, but people just were not interested. So while they were greenlighting a lot of these really cool original IPs, the reality is they just were not doing well at the box office. So this is definitely a win for Mike and Pam. So, Sinners also boasts the best Rotten Tomatoes critic score of Coogler's career with 97%. It was also graced with an impressive A Cinema score from audiences and perfect scores on PostTrack. The male skewing movie is playing to an ethnically diverse audience, which I pretty much said before I even read this article, with Black moviegoers making up 38% of ticket buyers, while white moviegoers make 35%, followed by Latinos at 18%, Asians at 5%, and Native Americans / other at 4%, according to PostTrack. I wonder how they keep track of this. Like, do y'all be like taking people's blood samples and stuff for y'all to even be knowing, you know, who's doing what and where and who's somebody's ethnicity is? So yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with the movie is about, it is set in 1932 and it stars Michael B. Jordan in dual roles where they play twins known as Smoke and Stack. They come from Chicago back to Mississippi after they were working for Al Capone. They come up, into some money. Who knows how they got the money? There's speculations in a couple of the scenes throughout the movie where I think one of the brothers kind of does have a tell where it's like, okay, she clocked you. So, and that was Smoke that got clocked. So the brothers basically returned because they were gone from like 7 years, and then they came back to Mississippi. That would be Clarksdale, Mississippi. And then they have all this liquor. They plan on opening up a juke joint. They get this place from this guy. I ain't going to tell you who he turns out to be. You got to watch the movie. There's a lot of twists and stuff going on in this film. And, in regards to that, they recruit a couple of people. So they recruit their cousin Sammy, who I told y'all is Miles Catton. I didn't remember his name before, but I got it this time. Miles Catton. First of all, he is one to watch. His voice not only sounds like it's how someone so young has such an enriched voice, and he sounds like an old soul, literally. Like I've had people tell me that when I was a kid, that I came across as an old soul, that they feel like I've been here before. This is the same thing that I've gotten from this kid, and he's definitely someone to watch. Not only when he talks, but when he opens his mouth to sing, my face literally looked like I'm trying to remember which brother it was. I think it was Stack. His face when he was driving and he pulled that guitar out and Sammy started playing, and he heard that voice, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna make some money tonight." So the richness of his voice and just like the overall richness and pain that was coming from where he was singing, he was pretty good. And then we had Annie, who is Smokes a Strange Love, and she is like someone who's into hoodoo, so that's where the supernatural aspect comes from, where she's aware of like the vampires and pretty much telling people about that whole thing so that way they'd be able to know how to protect themselves. So I'm glad that Brian Coogler kind of put her character in this to kind of make it seem like, okay, now since she does what she does, it's more believable to be like, well, how all of a sudden these people know what the hell vampires are, blah, 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 and all that other stuff. And then we got Delta Slim, who, is well, you probably don't know if you haven't seen it. He's a local pianist. He likes to drink a lot. He's played by Delroy Lindo, who we talked about the other day when we did the Blade story. But, once upon a time, he was supposed to be in that. Then we got the Asian couple, Grace and Bo Chow. who I think a lot of people did not know, and I didn't know this myself, that back in the 30s, there was a huge Chinese population that lived down south. But they were like really into like they were really religious and that sort of thing. But then it makes sense because when you watch shows like Warrior, which they got the first 3 seasons, it was on HBO Max at first, but now you can watch the first 3 seasons on Netflix. You do see like the Chinese were very prominent in America during that time and building the railroads and that sort of thing. So that history is there. But it was good to know like that history of them, that there were Asian people that existed down south. Because if you let people tell it, you think that it was just black folks down there and Klansmen. And then there's Pearline, who Sammy takes a liking to, and there's a certain scene in this movie. I'm like, child, let me find out you like to eat the box while it's a little sweaty. And then, we had Cornbread, who I love me some Cornbread. First of all, I've been following his career, like he's a character actor, so he's been around for a long time, and seeing him get his recognition and really eat up the scenery in this film was great. Mary, who's played by Haley Steinfeld, she basically played a woman who was of mixed race, who basically has gone through her life passing for white. So I definitely loved her character and how she was in love with Stack, but Stack couldn't be with her because of racism and all the other stuff. And so, yeah, Sinners is definitely a film that people need to go check out. It's a great film. So I pretty much recommend everybody go see this film. I'm glad that it's made the money that it's made. Hopefully it keeps that up. But then we have other movies coming out. We got Accountant 2 coming out. Who knows how well that will, well, it's coming out this coming week. We don't know how well that's going to do, but based off of, because that movie's been out of commission for like, when did it come out, like 8 years ago? So I believe that it's probably built an audience. It didn't do well when it first came out, I'll say that. But now, because it's been out on streaming and things of that nature, enough people have seen it where it's like, think I might do well. And Minecraft, look, you made enough damn money. Let somebody else shine. But if people would still want to go see Minecraft, go ahead and see it. There's room for everybody. Go see Sinners 2. I mean Sinners, yeah, see Sinners 2, not Sinners Part 2, but Sinners 2, TOO. Like I said, I'm gonna go see it tomorrow again. And so yeah, I'm glad that Ryan Coogler is doing this. So and he's got some success with this film. But I could have sworn the movies, they said that the budget was a lot smaller. They said $90 million. But I could have sworn that I heard that the budget was less than that. But I don't know. I guess whatever. The movie still is doing well at the box office. I do feel like because of word of mouth, more people will go see it. And so I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this story in regards of Sinners pretty much slaying the box office competition and dethroning Minecraft for the #1 spot? So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below.